I'm going to do today is try to figure out a way to make a cool piece of molding that will cover up the joint between this 90-degree wall and this 45-degree ceiling. Because pre-made pieces of molding simply do not cover this case. And as you can see, it looks kind of nasty. I've done some caulking here to seal it, and you know, it's effective, but it sure doesn't look very nice. So what am I going to do? I take a regular piece of molding like this. I could use that, but it doesn't butt up against it. It just doesn't look very nice. I could maybe do it this way, which is a little better, but it really looks like what it is, which is just I shoved a board, you know, against the ceiling. What I'm noticing is if I can somehow make this at a 45-degree angle, well, then it would snug right up against it and fit the ceiling. So I can go outside to the table saw, try to set it up to do a cut exactly like this, and see what we get. All right, so here we are outside with the circular saw, and I'm going to attempt to make this piece of molding that I was just talking about. So the first thing I'm going to do is adjust the blade of the saw to be 45 degrees rather than the standard 90 degrees at which it normally cuts at. So here we see the blade put up at exactly 90 degrees. I'm going to unlock the angle adjuster and crank this to exactly 45 degrees and lock it in place. And now that it's locked in place, we have a saw blade at 45-degree angle instead of straight up and down 90. Next thing I'm going to do is adjust the distance between the guard and the blade to 1.5 inches, which seems to be the right, you know, I'm just kind of eyeballing it here. It seems like it'd kind of be the right height for a piece of molding that goes at the ceiling. Okay, we've adjusted the guard, got exactly a 1.5 inch distance between the guard and the blade. Blade set at 45 degrees. Safety first. Other thing is get the push stick ready. Push stick is always something you want to use when you're doing a very narrow cut in a table saw like this. Unless you've got a good 6-8 inches to put your hand over here and slide it, don't get your hands close to this blade. I have all 10 fingers. I like to keep it that way. So we use a push stick whenever we're going to get kind of close to the blade and need to get it through that last bit. Got a nice piece of scrap molding here that I'm going to use for this test. This is a little warped. It's kind of dirty. It's not something I'd like to actually use in the real house, but it's enough to run this test with and see if this is going to work out. So let's fire up the saw. Pretty good. We've got a piece of molding, cut at a 45-degree angle. Let's go see if it works by snugging it up against the ceiling. Okay, back from the table saw. So here is our piece of molding that we just cut outside. And let's see how this works. Works pretty good. Fits right up snug against the ceiling. Makes for a good joint. Looks fairly good as I move it around. This is a short piece, just kind of do the test, but it looks nice. And I think this is going to work just fine. So there we have it. A way to adjust a standard piece of molding that you would get at Lowe's or Home Depot, whatever, and fix it so that it works on an angled ceiling.